So 24 years ago, while I was pregnant with my last child, my fifth born, and, that pregnancy, I said to my husband, this is a girl. He said to me, it's a boy. This is where I became the prophet. I said, this is a girl. He said, it's a boy. I said, okay, let's wait and see. It's not like now that you go, you do all the scanning, and the scanning will tell you this. So you already know, so you are not excited. It's not a surprise. But then, with that pregnancy, at that time, the Lord now spoke clearly, giving this name, Women in God's Prophetic Agenda. Now, this was the theme of our first conference, 2001. I was pregnant 2000, gave birth in 2001. March, I gave birth. By June 2001, we had the first Women in God's Prophetic Agenda conference. So, thank you for clapping unto the Lord. Which means while I was pregnant physically, biologically, I was also pregnant spiritually. My spirit man received seed that God incubated with time. And while I was about to give birth physically, the birthing of the spiritual was even at the door. And so with that pregnancy, we went about planning, holding crusades around here to announce that there is a generation of women that are coming into God. So to announce Women in God's Prophetic Agenda, before having the conference, we went through these villages. We carried out prophetic prayer, speaking into the land as women, holding crusades with big pregnancy, preaching the salvation of Christ. And with that, we got into the place of planning. Now, if you have been in the conferences, you hear the stories right from Jos, because then my children were schooling in Jos, so I was mostly in Jos. Then driving Jos, Kafanchan. There, the vision was incubated. At the right time, appointed day, the Lord gave birth to this vision called Women in God's Prophetic Agenda. And then the journey began. And in that journey, I have even those that have been with us more than 10 years. Like yesterday or so, Pastor Rivka said, it's more than 10 years, it's about 2 decades she has been with us. Right from that time. And then I have Pastor Esther Dogoyaru as a witness, who has been with us, they were there when we sit in the open heavens. We sit in the open heavens. We'll change as the sun is coming. We are changing our seats. But nothing could stop us rejoicing and speaking truth. So when we hear today, younger ones speaking those reality of God in the female, it rejoices our hearts. Because then when we were speaking and breaking down from Genesis 1, Genesis 2, Genesis 3, we keep on. Talk Genesis this, Genesis, then we connect to this. Then it was not popular. But there were mothers that were digging and pouring out. So today is a great joy to see daughters who can stand and talk about the female in the light of the redeemed woman. It's a great joy to see them taking their places in different areas. And that is why the theme of this conference is so important. Because we are looking at what God has used us to walk in, to plant. And while here, even in Southern Kaduna, we had all kinds of women's meetings, sisters' fellowship meetings. And I have here Pastor Cindy Ego, where we will walk here and walk there, and see the hand of God doing a lot. There are other women that we started with that were always here for these Women in God's Prophetic Agenda meetings, and also some of the meetings we had around Southern Kaduna that are not here. And I honor God for their lives. I don't want to begin to call names now, but with time, one day, maybe in 25th anniversary, we are going to flash in their pictures. Because where you are seated, there are so many people that have labored, they have prayed, their sweat is speaking, their blood is speaking. They paid the price. Some are seated here who walk here and there. We had those that have gone to be with the Lord, who walked as chairpersons of our committee. We have so many of them. We have some that are still alive, but they are not here. But the story of women in God's prophetic agenda cannot be completed without some of their lives. So when you get into a place and you realize that there are so many lives that have gone ahead to make it possible for you to be where you are seated, then you cannot but to honor God and to fear God and to know that there is a demand upon you also to also leave something for another generation.